Caitlyn Clark. Do I gotta say you're like the girl version of Steph Curry, or should I flip it and call Steph Curry the guy version of Caitlyn Clark? If you're a coach scheming to shut down Caitlyn Clark, what's your game plan? Caitlyn Clark's been the talk of the town in women's hoops lately. It's wild, right? She's got everyone buzzing, and she's not even in the big leagues yet. With all this hype around Caitlyn Clark, it's only fair to weigh in on just how awesome she really is. Let's take a peek at Caitlyn Clark's journey to stardom, her killer run at Iowa, and what's next for her on the court. Caitlyn Clark grew up in Iowa and started hooping at just 5 years old. She was so good. She was tearing it up with the boys in rec leagues. And she wasn't just a basketball whiz. She played everything from softball to tennis. But once high school hit, basketball became her main squeeze, and she never looked back. In high school, she dominated the court for 4 straight years. Let's highlight some of her best moments. In junior year, she dropped 60 points in a game, the second highest in Iowa women's history. She led the state in scoring, averaging 32.6 points per game. Senior year was a repeat performance with her leading the state again at 33.4 points per game, plus killer stats in rebounds, assists, and steals. By the time she graduated, she left her mark with the 4th most points and 6th most three-pointers in Iowa women's hoops. College scouts knew she was a star in the making. ESPN ranked her 4th in her class. She had her sights set on Notre Dame at first but ended up staying close to home, repping the University of Iowa. So Caitlyn had already made waves in high school, but stepping into college, she was still that small-town Iowa girl flying under the radar. But right from her freshman year at Iowa, she was out to prove herself. Starting as the team's point guard, she made a splash in her very first college game. Dropping 27 points, grabbing 8 rebounds, and dishing out 4 assists, she showed us just a glimpse of her superstar potential. And that was just the beginning. By the end of her freshman year, she was averaging 26.6 points, 7.1 assists, and 5.9 rebounds per game. There were some standout moments like her 37-point game against Minnesota, a 39-point explosion against Nebraska, and a rare triple-double against Western Illinois. Sure, her season ended in a tough loss to UConn in the Sweet 16, but man, what a year it was! She scooped up awards left and right, earning Co-Freshman of the Year, First Team All-Big Ten, and All-American honors. And get this, she even led the whole country in total points, assists, field goals, and three-pointers as a freshman. Talk about making an entrance. Now you might wonder, why didn't Caitlyn Clark just hop straight into the WNBA draft with her insane skills? Well,
WNBA draft. The Indiana Fever select Caitlyn Clark.
Well, unlike the NBA, there is no one-and-done rule in the WNBA game. For women's college ballers, there's a bit of a waiting game. They gotta hit 22 years old and be 4 years out of high school before they can even think about declaring for the draft. Sure, they could jet off overseas for some pro experience, but college ball's often seen as the best route to the WNBA. So even though Caitlyn was tearing it up from day one, she still had 3 more years of college hoops ahead of her. Honestly, the WNBA draft rules could use a makeover cause Caitlyn was NBA ready from the get-go. But hey, rules are rules. So we're just kicking back, enjoying the show, and witnessing history unfold with Caitlyn Clark on the court. Her sophomore year? Oh, it was just a continuation of her freshman dominance. She was slowly but surely becoming a household name. And talk about breaking records. Her 44-point spectacle in January 2022, it set a new bar for Carver Hawkeye Arena. And get this, she was even smashing men's records. First ever Division I player to rack up back-to-back 30-point triple-doubles? Yeah, that's Caitlyn for you. And that 46-point masterpiece against Michigan? Absolutely mind-blowing, especially with 25 of those points dropping in the 4th quarter alone. So Caitlyn clinched the Big Ten tourney title in her sophomore year, dropping a whopping 41 points and snagging 9 rebounds in the semis. Even though her season ended with a gut-wrenching loss to Creighton in the round of 32, she wrapped up the year with some eye-popping stats: 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists per game. And to top it off, she snagged the Big Ten Player of the Year title and All-American honors. But let me tell you, Caitlyn's junior year, that's when she really made her mark. Talk about historic. Alongside her crazy averages of 27.8 points, 8.6 assists, and 7.1 rebounds per game, she notched her 7th triple-double, breaking a Big Ten record. She also zoomed to second place in Division I women's history for total triple-doubles, just behind Sabrina Ionescu. And March Madness, she owned it. A 40-point triple-double in the Elite Eight, that's a first in March Madness history. And in the Final Four, she torched the court with 42 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds, knocking out the defending champs. Plus, she became the first player ever with back-to-back 40-point games in the tourney. She led Iowa to their first ever NCAA championship game, although they fell short against LSU. With all the success, you know she racked up the awards: Conference Player of the Year, National Player of the Year. If there was a trophy up for grabs, she probably snagged it. Many folks hailed Caitlyn's junior season as one of the best in college basketball history. And guess what? She still got her senior year ahead of her. In just her second game this year, Caitlyn pulled off a 34-point triple-double against Virginia Tech, sealing the deal with a big win. And talk about a record breaker. She became Iowa's all-time leading scorer right after that. Then boom, just a week later, she outshone Kelsey Plum with the most 30-point gains ever in women's Division I history. Her season, it's been one for the books, packed with jaw-dropping stats and total domination. I mean, check out those averages: 31.8 points, 8.1 assists, and 7.3 rebounds per game. That's MVP material right there. But let's talk about her record-smashing moments. First up, she swiped Steph Curry's crown for most three-pointers in a single Division I season during her conference tourney. And then, she breezed past Pete Maravich's all-time scoring record, no sweat. Caitlyn's college career, it's been nothing short of legendary. Now here's the kicker. She's still missing one major thing: a championship. Sure, she's got all the skills to be the GOAT, but adding a title to her resume, that really sealed the deal. The Indiana Fevers got their eyes on her for the first overall pick in the WNBA draft. But let's dig into her game and see what makes her tick. Standing tall at 6 feet, she's a giant among point guards in the WNBA. With killer handles and lightning speed, she drives to the rim like a force of nature. And don't even get me started on her passing game. It's top-notch. Plus, she's a beast on defense, thanks to her size and agility. Honestly, she's the total package, a blend of Magic and Steph on the court. And trust me, that's something we've never seen before in women's hoops. Caitlyn Clark's impact on women's college basketball is monumental. Some even say she's the GOAT, drawing comparisons to Steph Curry's influence on the men's game. She's shining a spotlight on the incredible talent of women on the court, flipping the script on women's basketball culture. And you want to talk numbers? She's packing stadiums. The 2023 National Championship game, biggest turnout in women's hoops history. When she broke Pete Maravich's scoring record, that game had more eyeballs glued to the screen than any women's regular season matchup in 25 years. Caitlyn Clark isn't just a player, she's a game changer. She's rewriting the rules of women's basketball like never before. And get this, folks are already whispering about her GOAT status, and she hasn't even hit the WNBA yet. But let's cut to the chase. Can Caitlyn Clark truly be the greatest of all time in women's hoops? Will she bring the heat in the WNBA? We want to hear what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you're loving the Caitlyn Clark hype, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more in-depth discussions on basketball legends and rising stars. Don't miss out on the action. Hit that subscribe button now.